Hi, hello, and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto, and our journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the third round of the 1952 season, the Belgian Grand Prix. It was held on the 22nd of June. It had 22 entries, all of which took part in the race. However, 7 of them failed to finish. The race consisted of 36 laps, which were completed in 3 hours, 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Ascari qualified on pole, Farina was second, Taruffi third, Manzou fourth, and rounding up the top 5 was Jean Bera. Ascari took the win from Farina, who crossed the line 1 minute 55.2 seconds later. Manzou came home in third, 4 minutes 28.4 seconds behind. Mike Hawthorne finished in fourth, 1 lap down, and Paul Frere took the fifth and final points scoring position. He was 2 laps behind. The fastest lap was 4 minutes 53 flat, posted by Ascari. The first hurdle you need to cross at Spa is the Eau Rouge, a very dangerous corner because it goes uphill, and as the car starts to reach the top, it will start to lift off the ground, so you need to be mindful of your speed. From there we move on to Le Combes, a fast left-hander, which can be taken in 4th or 3rd gear depending on the car. You'll be traveling at around 160 to 170 km per hour here. Next big hurdle is Malmedy, a tricky left-right chicane-like complex. You will need to lift a bit just as you reach the apex of the left-hander, then immediately get back on the power as you reach the apex of the right-hander. Next is the Masta Kink, another left-right chicane-like complex. Up next is Tavolo, a long right-hander that tightens towards the end. I find that the best way to approach this one is to go as wide as possible initially, then easily turn in with the corner. Done right, you don't even have to lift. La Carrière is next, a pretty easy right-hander. After that comes Blanchiment. Position your car just right, and you should be able to go flat out through here. And finally we come into La Source, the hairpin at the end of the lap. Brake just before the first billboard on your right. Down to 2nd gear, make your line as wide as possible, and be careful when applying power on the exit, as it's very easy to lose the car here. But that is a lap around Spa-Francorchamps. And here we are in qualifying, coming around to post our first timed lap, which is a 156.1, 356.1 even. Oh, and I touched the wall there. It's not very fast, but not as slow as I thought I would be. But let's see if we can improve on that, and this is my second attempt. Well, not really my second, it's my third attempt. And this is a 355.7. Not a huge improvement. However, I was not able to do any better, so we will have to settle for this one, unfortunately. So now here we are on the grid for the grid walk, and we have Rudi Fischer on pole, interestingly enough, Mike Hawthorne second, Alberto Ascari is third, fourth is Jean Bera, Nino Farina is in fifth, our guy Andy Higgs is sixth, Maurice Tintignant seventh, André Simon eighth, Robert Manzon ninth, Piero Taruffi 10th, Eric Thompson is 11th, Gonzalez 12th in his Maserati, followed by Bonetto in 13th, 14th is De Grafarid in his Maserati, Dennis Poor is 15th, Ken Wharton is 16th, Luigi Villoresi 17th, Alan Brown 18th, Peter Collins is 19th, and Paul Frere occupies the 20th spot on the grid. So here we are at the Spa-Francorchamps, the Belgian Grand Prix even. Not a good season thus far, so let's hope that this one goes a little bit better. Qualifying definitely went a bit better. And we are off. I lose quite a few positions here. We are now in 8th at the moment, right behind Hawthorne, and Piero Taruffi gets in front of us, and there are cars all over the track as we come through Eau Rouge, and we move into 5th already. There's another car, that's Nino Farina, and we move up into 4th. So that was quite a scary start for the Belgian Grand Prix, but considering the AI and these cars, it's kind of expected by this point, really. And here is a replay of the start. We see the Simca and one of the Ferraris going hard right for no reason as we come down the hill, and Then up through Eau Rouge, we see one of the Coopers there with the yellow uh, trim, and that is me in the Ferrari, obviously. Who I cannot commentate today. Hooray! One of those days again. But we saw a few cars losing control through Eau Rouge, and here we have Maurice Trintignant in the Simca there. The Ferrari, I'm not sure who it is, clips the Ferrari and spins the Simca and spins it around. However, he recovers absolutely beautifully, but then he comes around and crashes into another Ferrari, loses his front left wheel, and that is the end of him. Next we have Paul Frere in the Alta, number 23 Alta there. He kind of loses control coming into the source. Then one of the Maseratis comes and crashes into him, and he loses of his front wheel, and he's out of the Grand Prix. Next is Peter Collins coming through this right-hander, crashes into one of the Coopers, loses his front wheel, left front wheel, and he is also out of the Belgian Grand Prix. So that's 3 retirements on just the opening lap of the Belgian Grand Prix, as we are chasing after Alberto Ascari, who is just under 1 second in front of us. Mike Hawthorne is behind us, some 6.5 seconds already behind, so he needs to step on it if he intends on catching up to us. Now we are on lap 2, just started lap 2, and we just passed Jean Berra, who lost control of his Simca there. He didn't retire yet, but he lost control of the car, and we see one of the Maseratis at the side there, not sure who it is. And here we look at Mike Hawthorne coming around the right-hander, goes wide, loses control, crashes into the fence, loses both his front wheels, and he is also out of the Belgian Grand Prix. So that's 4 retirements thus far, and we're still chasing after Alberto Ascari, who's started to build a gap now. He's nearly 4 seconds ahead of us, and we are nearly 12 seconds in front of Jean Berra, still in third. So we need to hopefully try and catch Ascari as we come into La Source at the end of lap 2, and there is Ascari. Not sure what he's done, but he's very slow out of the hairpin there, and we move up into second. Rudy Fischer is leading the race. He's 6.5 seconds up the road, so it will be a while before we can catch him, if we can catch him at all. Lap 4 coming through this left-hander, and Rudy Fischer loses control of his car through that left-hander, and we take the lead of the race on lap 4. Didn't expect to be leading the race, let alone this early. Now coming through this chicane here, through the Malmedy chicane. Not sure what's happening here. And here we have Alberto Ascari coming through that left-hander, kind of goes on that hill part there and crashes behind the fence, and he's out of the Belgian Grand Prix. So even more retirements to add to the list, as we are still building a gap on Rudy Fischer. We are now some 14.5 seconds in front of him, with a clear road ahead of us. Now coming through approaching the Malmedy chicane, let's just call it a chicane. Rudy Fischer is still behind us, 22 seconds in fact, and we now see Alan Brown coming through that left-hander, crashes into one of the Ferraris, loses his front wheel, and whoever is driving the Ferrari is going on, probably to finish the race, who knows. So yeah, that's one more retirement to add to the list, as we continue to build a gap on Rudy Fischer, who is now 22.1 seconds behind us. Lap 12, and Dennis Spohr is out of the Belgian Grand Prix. This is the final lap of the race, and we still have retirements. Not as many as we usually have, but anyway. And first we look at Piero Taruffi. He's being overtaken by that Maserati, not sure who's driving it. And he goes up the embankment there, and he is behind the hedge fence there, and I'm guessing he's trying to complete the lap like this. This is about 30 seconds later. He is approaching the source hairpin. We see the billboards there on the left, and he's still going. He's still going. Crashes into those hay bales, and he's finally out of the Grand Prix. So yeah. But anyway, here now we are taking a look at Dennis Spohr, and oh my God, it's quite clear what's happening. His engine's on fire. His car is engine, and well, as an extension, his car is on fire, and he keeps on going. I'm fairly certain this would not happen in real life, especially given the fact that these cars have front-mounted engines, so all that fire would be blowing into his face, so he'd be pretty much charcoal by this point in real life. And he still keeps going. Come on, if you'd see such black smoke like that coming from your car, you'd stop immediately, wouldn't you? You wouldn't continue like that. But anyway, that is the end of Dennis Moore, and Eric Thompson takes second place. He's almost 2 minutes behind, 1 minute 45 seconds, 46 seconds almost. But yeah, quite a few retirements, not as many as usually, as we now come through La Source for one final time. Eric Thompson is still behind us, 1 minute 48 seconds, 47 seconds now, and we cross the line to take the win of the Belgian Grand Prix. A very, very welcome victory here. After 2 retirements in Switzerland and at the Indianapolis 500, this was very, very welcome. And we also managed to set the fastest lap, so that means a total of 9 points, which should put us in a pretty good position in the standings overall. And we now take a look at the retirements. Not as many as we are kind of used to seeing in these races, but still quite a few. Wow, that finally the defending world champion finally manages to not only finish a race but to score points, and not any points but win a race as I swing my car from left to right. And well, I'm quite happy about the result, obviously. So well, it took us quite a while before until we managed to do something good, but I guess good things come to those who are patient enough. But anyway, here are the career statistics. This was Andy Higgs's 18th Grand Prix. His best start was in 5th, no pole positions. He has set 3 fastest laps. His best finish is 1st, 7 wins, out of which 1 was at the Indianapolis 500, 1 championships won. He has a total of 75 points, 7 retirements, which makes 7 retirements and 7 wins, which is quite interesting. Has experienced 379 out of a total of 517 laps. Has 3 bronze trophies, no silver trophies, 7 gold trophies, and as a result 7 podiums. And now a look at the championship standings. Eric Thompson is leading the championship at the moment with 14 points. De Graafenried is in second, and we move up into third, which is absolutely outstanding considering these are our first points of the season. Farina is in fourth, Jambera fifth. Those are the top 5, the positions which are, in my opinion, the sort of more important ones. And I'm seeing a trend here, just like last season with Juan Manuel Fangio. Ascari is failing to score any points, although this is the season in which he actually won in real life, so not sure what's going on there. If he goes on like this, he might as well end up like Fangio in 51, not actually doing what he did in real life. But yeah, that is the Belgian Grand Prix. I had a lot of fun. It was quite refreshing to finally score some points. We really did need this. So quite happy with that. But that is it from me and this video. Our next race is the French Grand Prix at a brand new circuit. I'm not going to spoil which one it is, but you'll have to wait for that until next time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.